All right, here we are. Okay, now that we are good and getting started over here. So, how's everybody doing today? It's your normal Wednesday live event. So, welcome one and all. And today we're going to be going over a few different things. I understand it's after the holidays, so I don't know how many of you all are out there. So, hi, welcome to the show. I know that a few of you are interested, so thank you for tuning in for today. So what we're going to go over is a few different things. For the new year, to go ahead and round that out, there's going to be a lot to go ahead and take in. Now would be the perfect time to go ahead and address those things that worked this year, what did not work this year, and how best you can go ahead and up your game for next year. So we'll go over the 3 things that you can do to set up 2019 to be the best year for you. The first one that I said is have a plan. Now that's going to be the bulk and the majority of this talk today, mostly because a lot of people tend to not have a plan whenever they go out or when they do any sort of action, especially in terms of real estate and running your own business. Everybody knows that you need to have some sort of plan in place. Now you can't just go all crazy out there. It's not going to work, and you're going to be wasting a lot of money and everybody else's time as well as your own time. So we'll go ahead and go over that. And then I went ahead and threw a curveball at you guys. I'm pretty sure you were expecting something a little bit more broad, but that's not the case this time. The second thing that I recommended that you do is go ahead and get yourself some new clothes. We'll go over that, and I'll give you some examples on places that are relatively cheap and that are not going to be terribly expensive. So I'm not going to tell you to go shopping over at Nordstrom's and get their most expensive piece of clothing ever, because first off, that's not realistic. Second off, do you really want to do that? Third off, I mean, if you really want to and you have the money, then please feel free to go ahead and treat yourself. The third thing that I went ahead and said to do was to go ahead and take a good hard look at your current broker. Now that right there is really important for not only for you, but also for, I guess, for your family as well, and anybody else that's involved in your personal life. So that's something really important to go ahead and take in and to understand and then go from there. So we'll just go ahead and go right into it. The first thing that I said for everybody to do is to go ahead and have a plan. Now that is something that is really important and something that you need to go ahead and take in. I know a lot of you guys are new agents and that you probably need help trying to figure this out, but I'm going to go ahead and show you something over here in terms of the Small Business Administration. They can actually help you out to find any sort of plan that would help you out. So if we go ahead and take a look over here, if we go ahead and scroll down, this is on SBA.gov. This can help you write your business plan, and it can guide you through what you need to do in order to make sure that you do things according to a realistic timeline and that gets you going and make sure that you're on the right track. So again, over here, they got the lean startup over here. They got the traditional business plan. So they got different plans for different people and different businesses. And then it goes on to discuss market analysis, which is one of my favorite things to do naturally. I mean, being the marketing specialist over here, that's just par for the course. Another thing that I would recommend that you do in order to get your game going is not only construct a business plan that's suited towards your needs as well as your market. Go ahead and make sure to do that market research. Figure out where you're going to be, who you're going to focus on, and whether you're going to be focusing on buying or selling. That's one of the most important things that you can do. So funding requests, financial projections. So this whole thing goes ahead and keeps you in check. They even got examples down here for this Rebecca and this Andrew person, which, you know, I've known Rebecca's and Andrews, and they're both very pleasant people. So just going up on there, I'm rolling on my sleeves. So give me just a moment. Yeah, feel free to go ahead and go poke around this site and see what you think about that from there. Okay, so going ahead and going back up here, yeah. So the reason why you want to do this right now is because a lot of people are more or less rusting and getting their, well, not necessarily getting their ducks in a row, but they are doing, well, pretty much nothing. And this is your time to go ahead and figure out what you're going to do next year. So I mean, you could get a leg up on the plan for next year. So that's another thing that I recommend that you do. There's a lot of different things that can be done, especially during right now. I understand that a lot of you all are still tired from the holidays, but now is the best time to get in gear and to make sure that you take those necessary steps so you're ahead of everyone else. It's going to be a lot more important, especially in this coming January with the new year coming up, that you're going to have a plan in place. So that way then, like I keep saying, you're ahead of everyone else, and if you're ahead of everyone else, then you get more sales. That's just par for the course. All right. So in terms of one of my favorite things, which is the marketing sector, which of course is natural. I mean, I kind of sort of do this for a living. The one thing that I want to tell you to be sure about is to have a content marketing strategy. That is going to be one of the most important things for you to go ahead and figure out in your day-to-day life. I promise I'm doing something over here. So I've been reading this one book recently, and it's actually been immensely helpful in figuring out a new content strategy for Realty Partners and to get things going for us as well, and it seems to be working. I mean, I could probably ask my boss to see if it works out or not, but we could just go from there. It's Growth Hacker Marketing. It's been immensely helpful to me, and it's, as you can see, it's a really short book. You can knock this out in a day if you really wanted to. I myself am a really slow reader, so I'm only about I got about maybe, let's see, I'm at page 63, 100 pages, so I still have 40 pages to go. But as you can see, it's rather big print on a small book. It's not that big a deal. I also have another book that was recommended to me by another marketing specialist called, it's a yellow book. Oh yeah, it's called How to Create Addictive Products. Now, that right there, I've only cracked it open once, but I'm really excited about reading this book as well. And I recommend that you go ahead and look at these two books to see how you can apply those marketing strategies to your own plan as well. Another thing that I want to go ahead and talk to you all about, and I feel like I'm beating a dead horse over here, but at the same time, I cannot stress this enough. If you plan to have a career in real estate, you really got to ramp up your tech knowledge. There is no other choice. Technology is not going to slow down anytime soon, and you need to catch up. There's no other way to go about this. The old days are just about dead. There are a few other things that still carry over and are still true to this day, but not a lot of them carry the same weight as technology does in terms of your CRM, in terms of your organization, in terms of organizing your own workload, your timelines, your emails. I mean, everything is now controlled more or less from a technological point of view and from other sorts of programs, software, hardware, technology that are immensely helpful. And if you're not utilizing those, you're only hurting yourself and your own business. So that's something to keep in mind. Another thing that I want to go ahead and talk to you all about as well is some photos that I have seen that have been absolutely terrible for MLS. I'm actually going to go ahead and switch this over just to give you a little bit of a peek, and it's absurd. So firstly, if we go ahead and take a look up here, see that this one person right over here has a camera that's just right up there. I'm not sure what's going on with that TV in the first one. So some of these are just simply horrible. I mean, even the one with the horse in the middle of it, I do not understand why that's there. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you think to put a horse in the kitchen? And truth be told, I hope that's just photoshopped and not actually a real thing. But do keep in mind what you're photographing and how you're doing it and what you're doing about it. There's so many bad MLS photos out there, and I've seen more than my fair share. I'm letting you know right now to invest you can do one of two things. You can either invest in a good DSLR camera and learn to use the photo technology yourself, or go ahead and hire a photographer. There are plenty of good ones out there, and if you need it, I'm pretty sure that there's a realtor around here or someone in your line of work that'd be more than happy to recommend someone to you who is not terribly expensive and who will help you take those better photos instead of you going around on your cell phone and just magically taking pictures. First off, that looks really tacky. Second off, it makes you look tacky. So how do you want to look to people that are looking at these potential photos and trying to think if they want to employ you, let alone even talk to you about a certain sale? Would you rather look tacky, or would you rather look like a professional? The choice is yours. Another thing that I want to go ahead and go over is kind of going off the technology vein a little bit, and that's going to be marketing automation. Now, marketing automation is going to be imperative coming into 2019 and into 2020. There are already a lot of marketing automation practices going on out there in terms of email marketing, CRM, things that I mentioned before, but it's going to be even more important by this time next year. The chat bots that are out there, when you go on to any website and it says, "Oh, hello, so-and-so, would you like to talk about this and that?" About 90% of the time, that's not a real person going ahead and talking to you like that. That's going to be a bot, and they're going to be answering the most frequently asked questions of people. Yeah, you can go ahead and have the FAQs list on your website, but really that's not interactive, and it kind of provides a sterile sort of experience for a lot of people out there, and that's something that you have to keep in mind, is that with the rise of technology, you have to incorporate that into your own practices. Not only does that show that you're savvy about it, but also proves that you're on the up and up. And what that's going to do for you is that it's going to prove to the new wave of first-time home buyers that you actually know what you're doing, that you're not stuck in the past, and that you're not addicted to your own old ways of doing things. Sure, they may have worked in the past, but a lot of these are no longer relevant. You have to keep track of which ones are relevant and then utilize those in your own practice. Last week, I went ahead and went over the existing home sales report from November of 2018, where it stated that 33% of the market right now is based off of first-time home buyers. And a lot of those first-time home buyers are around the age of 32 on average. That's a lot of people that you are missing out on because you don't want to, quote unquote, waste the time to make sure that these technologies work in your favor. So it's more than going to be worth your time to invest any time in any sort of technology that's going to help you manage your business better, instead of just having notebooks upon notebooks or having file after file. Wouldn't you rather just show up with one of these little things and just be like, "Oh yeah, why don't you just go ahead and sign right here, and then we can just move right along?" I think using one of these things is a whole lot better option than pulling out any sort of manila folder or anything along those lines, unless that's what your client wants to see. Now, there are a lot of senior clients out there that would probably not mind that, and if that's your niche that you want to commit to, then by all means, go on ahead. But I believe that technology is going to make that a little bit, or is going to make you more present, is going to make you more relevant, no matter what niche that you actually pick, whether it's going to be the luxury people, whether it's going to be the seniors, whether it's going to be those first-time home buyers. Being in the know about tech is only going to prove your professionalism more. And then that marketing automation is something that you want to keep in touch with too. I don't know of anybody who does not have an email address anymore. And landlines I don't even know anybody that has a landline anymore. They all choose their cell phones as their main form of communication. And then lo and behold, you also get email on this too. Something to keep in mind. In terms of the business thing, okay. So along with your business plan, here's another thing that you got to do. You have to set up certain goals for yourself. In fact, the three major things that I think are going to be most imperative for your business plan are to go ahead and set up goals, balance, and a timeline. All those three things are going to make sure that you remain on the right track throughout 2019. So here's the thing about goals, though. The goals have to be somewhat feasible. They have to be realistic. And saying that you will make $1 million next year, I mean, sure, that's always within the realm of possibility, but just how realistic is it? That's like me taking my scratch-off ticket that I got for Christmas and was like, "Oh, geez, I hope I get $1 million. That's not how that works. And a lot of times that stroke of luck only happens to a very, very small fraction of people, and chances are that's, no offense, but that might not be you. So plan for that. Make sure you have goals. Make sure you have the big picture in effect, and also make sure you have the steps going up to it as well. If you don't have the steps that lead up to that goal, you're going to be looking at a downhill, or you're going to be looking at this hill and going, "How do I get up there?" But if you make sure that you see the steps going up, then chances are it's going to make that a little bit easier to reach. I remember, So I was listening to NPR the other day. Here's a great story about this one guy that climbed El Capitan. For all those people that do not know what El Capitan is, let me go ahead and pull up a photo. It's a place in Yosemite, and it looks like thus. So let me go ahead and switch the screen here for just a second. There we go. So this is the cliff face known as El Capitan. Now, oh, look at that. This is normally the thing that people climb up if they want to go ahead and scale it. This one guy on NPR yesterday, he managed to complete the climb in 1 day and doing it without any sort of rope. So he had no safety harness. He had nothing holding him like this guy. There was nothing saving him from just falling off the cliff face. Now, my point here is that he had almost a military precision on how best to climb it. And he did that with ruthless precision. That's something that you have to make sure to go ahead and do. Yes, it is possible for you to make $1 million next year, but what steps are you going to take to make sure that you do that? How are you going to climb El Capitan without knowing where to go, how to do things, and which steps to take, and which ones will lead to your inevitable failure, which in this guy's case would have been certain death. Not saying it's that serious, but that's something to go ahead and talk to yourself about. The other thing that I want to go ahead and emphasize is to make sure that you have balance and focus throughout the new year. I say balance because a lot of times what happens is that, I remember mentioning this a couple weeks ago in one of my other live events, where a majority of new realtors, about 85 to 95% of them, quit within the first 2 to 5 years. That is a major exponential downfall than what any other career actually sees. And that's something that you have to keep in mind as well. You can't just be thinking, oh, I'm going to work my tail off and it's going to end up in great rewards. No, what it's going to do, okay, it might go ahead and give you some great rewards, but what's going to definitely give you is serious burnout. That's something that happens to a majority of people because they work so hard all the time and they barely see any rewards from it, and then that's when they just fall flat. That's something that you want to go ahead and make sure that you don't want to do, especially if you're serious about having a long-term career in real estate. That is something that is really important to keep. So for me, for example, because I love talking about me, if you're talking about me, I go ahead and do a regular yoga practice. I love yoga. It's amazing. I also do martial arts to make sure that my mind remains focused and sharp and steady. So those are 2 extracurricular things that I do. And then I also read a lot. I read anything from nonfiction, as you saw with that book, as well as fiction, which is back at home. So I apologize. But either way, that's something that you have to keep in mind when you're constructing your own plan. What kind of hours are you going to work that during your new career? Are you going to work the typical 8 to 5, which, spoiler alert, it's not going to work. You're going to have to figure out your hours. You're going to have to figure out when people are going to be most inclined to talk to you, when people really don't want to talk to you, and how you can best extrapolate that data for your own usage. This is pretty much what they've emphasized in the growth hacking book. There we go. That I'm currently reading right now, is that in order to make a great marketing strategy, you need to be part data scientist and part creative artist. And that's where the balance works out as well. It's all about balance. And then focus, because we all could use a little bit more focus, me included. Focus is something that you definitely need as well. I have a really bad habit of going over to my phone and checking to see what my email's doing, or what's going on over here on this thread, or, oh, did anybody respond to this? And I'm just as guilty about it, just as much as anybody else. But practice focus. I got a Headspace membership just to go ahead and get all this. And no, I'm not getting paid for any of these recommendations. another thing that I said to go ahead and do if you want to prepare for 2019 is I recommend that you actually get some new clothes. I'm just saying, get some new stuff, especially if you've had a rough year. If 2018 was not your year, then go ahead and get rid of those and then get some new stuff. Get some stuff that works well for you, that fits good, that looks good, and is not cheap. Stay away from 21 for all intents and purposes. I cannot say this enough. It's fast fashion. It's not built to last. And if you buy cheap clothes, you're going to feel cheap. That's just the bottom line. For example, this shirt right here, it's an Express shirt. They're not the cheapest on the planet, no, but I did get it on sale. So there's my little plug for the day. But get some good clothes, get something that's going to fit, get something that's going to work out for you. And if you feel like you can't walk into a Nordstrom's and pay full price, hardly anybody can. So I got a few recommendations for websites that you can go ahead and go to make sure that you look and feel your best. I really want to get a fashion expert in here and have a conversation with him or her about what fashion statements are going to be going on in the spring and how best you can utilize those to present yourself in the best way possible. So look out for that sometime in probably February or March. But let's go ahead and go over to this one. This one's for the women out there. I found this thing. It's called Everlane. I'm not sure if you all have heard of it or not, but they have a lot of good different professional clothing for people, or especially for women, to go ahead and look at. So let me go ahead and switch this over. So as we can see here, they got shoes of all different sizes and shapes and different things. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and go over to tops. So see, there's a lot of different clothes that would make you look fabulous and not make you look like you just crawled out of a dumpster, because nobody wants to see that. But okay, yeah, so I'm pretty sure these will go on sale soon enough, but this is something to go ahead and keep in mind when you're looking out for new clothes. Another one that I really like, if you're looking for something that's not going to be that expensive, I highly recommend that you go to either ThredUp or Poshmark. Those are two places that I personally love myself. So this is just if you're looking for some new things to go ahead and look at. Like I said, I've bought from Poshmark before. They've been excellent with me. And not to mention, you can even sell your own clothes there. So if you want to get rid of those things, or if you want to get rid of some old clothes that just aren't working for you, Poshmark and ThredUp, oh, okay, well, that did not work. Let's go ahead and try that again. There we go. Okay, I was spelling it wrong. So these people right here, they're also really good. They have a lot of different selection. Look, they even have their semi-annual sale going on. This can be used for men and women as well, I believe. Nope, okay, it's just for women. So apologies about that, guys. But I'm pretty sure that you can find clothes on Poshmark as well. I know you can find clothes on Poshmark for men, so that's not outside the realm of possibility. But both of these sites you can sell and buy from. I love them both, and that's just something to keep in mind when you're cleaning out as well as getting your new wardrobe intact. So the last thing that I wanted to go over was to go ahead and seriously consider who your broker is and what they are currently doing for you. This is a time to go ahead and take inventory. This is the time to take a look at how much you actually made this year. What kind of fees did your broker take from you? What other sorts of incentives did they promise, or what promises did they not keep, or anything along those lines? That is very important, because that's going to bring you a little bit more happiness in the new year. If you do not take an inventory of not only yourself but also your broker, you're setting yourself up to go ahead and repeat the same mistakes that you did this year. And that's not something that we want to do again. We all want to see each other succeed. We all want to make sure that everyone gets their own gets their own success story out there. That is what is most important, especially for you out there. Everybody I know who's in the real estate business works really hard, works really smartly, and a lot of them are not. You all are not stupid. I know you're intelligent, and I understand that things can get hard sometimes. I'm not saying that one person has it easier than another, which it's because they work at it. They make sure that they understand what they're getting for the work that they're putting in, and that is the most important. You have to think about what kind of commission split are you getting from your broker right now? What other benefits are they offering you? What kind of cap do they have in comparison to other brokers? If you've been thinking about a switch, now is the time to go ahead and give that some serious consideration. And then when the new year hits, go ahead and make that switch. Go ahead and make the leap. There was actually a video that Tanya Elder did. She's with Realty Partners as well, that did a little bit of segment that did a realtor tip of the week about this, where there were a few different questions that you should be asking of any broker before you join any sort of brokerage. I can go ahead and link that to you in the blog post that I will be coming out with later today, which details all of this again, just in case you missed any of it. But that's something to seriously consider when you are thinking about your own brokerage. What are they doing for you? It's not about what you're doing for them. It's what are they doing for you? Are you getting the most out of them? Are you creating your own future? Are you creating your own life that you've always wanted? And out of that percentage that you're getting from the closing sale, how much of that are you keeping? What else are you doing in order to make yourself more successful in your own career? That's something to go ahead and take a night and get yourself a little journal, like even just something really small like this, just a really simple little book that you can go ahead and get your thoughts down into. That's going to help you sort out your thoughts and help you make a conclusion about where your future is going. I know it can be scary. It can be really scary to go ahead and switch to another job or switch to another broker or anything along those lines. Trust me, I've changed jobs a lot, especially since the economic crisis of '08. I've changed jobs quite a few times, but mind you, I learned a lot of different things because I had those many different jobs. I think I stated in the last video how I've been in sales, I've been in recruiting, I've been a teacher, so I've had these myriad experiences, but in each and every one was definitely a little bit scary to get into. I mean, being 21 or 23, sorry, and going into sales, that I should have known better. I'll go ahead and say it like that. I should have known better, but you live and you learn, right? Recruiting, that was definitely an interesting experience. And finally, with the teaching, that was definitely a little bit of a Hail Mary, but you know, everything worked out for the better, and you won't know what you're good at until you take a chance at it, or until you change something. I mean, think about what's not working for you this year, and think about what could work for you this year. What does your dream future look like to you? That's what's most important. You have to respect yourself and know what's important to you, because if you don't know what's important to you, there's no one out there that's gonna go ahead and put that on a platter for you and just be like, oh yeah, here's what's most important for you. And it's not how it works, and it's not going to work like that. That's the thing, is that it just doesn't work like that. All right, so I believe I've been rambling long enough for this, and thank you all for tuning in at this moment. I do appreciate everybody's inputs and comments and sharing and everything else along those lines, because that is what helps keeps all of us alive and keeps us all informed and make sure that all of us can succeed into the new year. So I hope everybody had a good holiday over these past few weeks. So for the Jewish friends, I hope you had a great Hanukkah. For everyone else that celebrates the Christmas or the Yule, happy holiday to you all. And then for those people that celebrate Boxing Day, happy Boxing Day. And then for all those people that celebrate Kwanzaa, happy Kwanzaa to you as well. And then New Year's is going to be on a Tuesday next week, so Happy New Year to you as well, as I won't be seeing you until January 2nd, 2019, in which case we will be going over a few, well, that will be the month of starting your new career. So this is going to be a month that's going to be dedicated to the new real estate agents, or those that are just making the switch, or just switching into the career itself. So be sure to tune in for the month of January, my birthday month. So keep in mind for that, we'll be having a lot new great content, and if you have any suggestions, please feel free to message me. I'm available at Joe Faulkner, so feel free to stop on by, say hi, or do anything along those lines. So I love it when people say hi. I'm sorry if I don't respond to you right away. There's a lot to do around here, as we can see. So again, I hope to hear from you all soon. Please like and share this video. I will appreciate it to the maximum extent, and I will see you all in 2019. Have a good one.